inches away from them inside of the box, and they won't even know it. Or they'll know it, they'll smell her, but they won't do anything.
Right.
Because they're afraid that if they start to move, they'll get away from the pack and they'll get too cold.
Yeah.
You know, they have that instinct. I'm so glad that they're in. I'm a little concerned that they're so close to their old hive.
Old hive? Oh, is that? Do you know where they've come from?
I think so, because I think these came from one of my hives, because I marked the queen. One of my hives that I have down this way.
Oh.
I mark all my queens, and when I saw the queen appear that one time...
How do you tag a queen?
Well, just with a little...
marker pen or something?
It's a marker pen that is a non-toxic marker that's specifically for beekeeping. It's specifically to mark the queen.
Designed for it.
You have to catch her, and you have to hold her by the wings. It's really delicate process, because if you squeeze her too hard, or squeeze her abdomen, or whatever,
it's not good.
It's amazing how delicate it is, because the whole system is hinging on the queen and the whole colony.
Yes.
The whole colony will collapse without a queen. So the only thing I'm a little concerned about is, usually they like to go more than a mile away from their hives, and this queen, based on her marking and everything, she came from a hive that's less than that far away, so I'm a little concerned.
I see.
That they might, they might want to go back to that old hive or swarm somewhere else.
Right. Oh, you think that they haven't made a final decision about...
Well, it's hard to say, because I put some honey in there, and they could just be hanging out in here because there's something for them to eat, and it could be... I brought a bigger box because I'm a little concerned, because this is a prime swarm, and there's so many bees in this swarm that they could quickly run out of room again. If they
what do you estimate the number of bees that are in there?
You know, it's a prime swarm is supposed to contain more than 3,000 bees. I would say this one definitely has 4,000 or 5,000 just by the looks of it.
Wow.
I mean, you have to figure a ball of bees. I mean, that ball, the swarm we saw yesterday was, about that long and about an average of that wide. So you got to figure that in a ball of bees the size of my fist, you could probably easily fit 100 bees in the size of my fist. So, you figure if it's this long and parts of it were that wide, so it's probably, it's easy to say that there's more than 3,000 bees in there. You could conservatively say 3,000 minimally. And typically that box that I have there is a 5-frame box. And typically a 5-frame box is usually for a secondary swarm, not a prime swarm. This is a 9-frame box over here. An 8-frame box, and that's typically what they use for a prime swarm. So I brought that box today with frames in it, and I'm going to set it right next to the other box, just if they decide that they want more room, they'll see this box and maybe they'll go into that. But we have to kind of pay attention throughout the day to make sure they don't leave this box or leave this area altogether.
Now, can you transport them in 2 boxes? I mean, aren't they going to stay attached to the queen, which will be in one of the boxes?
Yeah. But just in case the queen decides this is not enough room and they want to go out again, the chances of them going in, if the other box is right next to there with frames in it already, the chances of them swarming and leaving are less if they have a bigger location than... The scouts are right next to there, and they can check out that other location.
Which looks like what they're doing.
I watched a bee already go in there. Yeah. check it out. You know, they'll go in there and look and say, hey, this one has.
And these boxes have been used before for
Yeah.
hives, so that probably smells and things are
Yeah, yeah. And plus there's old frames in there with wax already, which is that's one of the biggest reasons why they would stay, is because they would see that they don't have to, normally in the wild when they swarm, they have to construct the wax, and it takes a tremendous amount of
energy
to construct the wax.
and materials that they have to.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, I haven't got the quite right lens. It's a little bit long lens for this, so I'm going to stop the recording right now.
Okay, so we just let you know what's going on. Yesterday afternoon, late afternoon, we rescued this swarm of bees here, or not rescued it, but tried to place it in this box. And they had alighted on this orange tree here in the neighbor's yard. You can see there's some flowers opening on the orange tree, and also has some oranges that are still hanging on there from last year's bloom. And I have the bees right now. I believe the queen is inside the box because the majority of the bees are in the box. And yesterday we shook the major part of the swarm off into the box. I received probably about 15 stings, and another gentleman had one bee sting. Typically when I rescue these swarms, we do not receive stings because the swarm engorges itself with honey before it leaves the hive, and therefore they're very docile. But I saw the queen and tried to grab her out of the center of the swarm, and she did not like that very much, and I believe some of her workers and guards came after me. That's what initiated the stinging. Typically swarms are very, very docile. I do not have a bee suit on right now, and you can see I'm right next to them.